Alright. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is currently 5:40 a.m. And this is going to be one of those weird videos. This is not a rant video. I don't want to think of it as a rant video. And it's also a random video, we'll just call it, right? Because randomly talking about this shit. But today we're talking about the topic of LOVE, love. Why am I talking about it? Well, I've been thinking about the word love for quite some time. What does love really mean? Now, that's what I'm going to be here to discuss, is the word love. And how am I going to discuss it? I'm going to have a little talk about my love life. So, we first got to start where it all began, which was when I was like, I want to say 5, no, that's too early. I would say 7 years old. That's around the time I met my first love, but I was a dickhead about it. Now, this person who I was in love with, was a girl named Grace. And instead of treating her nice, like she was treating me nice every fucking day, trying so hard to, like, start a relationship and shit like that. However, I was just too fucking young. I didn't even realize that she wanted to be in a relationship. I was just a dick because I thought it was cool to be a dick. And eventually, she moved away. It's a common occurrence that happens in the word love. Is you find someone, you think you'll be perfect for them, but you don't make any move, and eventually they go away. That's kind of related to something that's going on with me recently, but I'm not going to really get into full details about that, because it also can affect my current relationships and my friendships, because it is with a friend. So, my second partner just so happened to have the same last name as me. That's partially why we got together. And it's also partially why we didn't get together, because we were together for a little bit, but then some rumors started to come up. Now, as I said, we shared the same last name. Like, the exact same last name. And it just so happened we lived in the same neighborhood. So naturally, everybody from school would just accuse us of being sibling lovemakers, which is why my relationship with Chloe did not last long. But that's when I was at my prime of going insane cuckoo, so I'm kind of glad it didn't last, because I probably would have done something stupid. My mom was not the greatest person of all time, because she was teaching me about sex by the time I was 5 years old, including putting me in baths with my own sister just so I could figure out what the woman body parts were, but I was just more focused on Inspector Gadget because we used to have a TV in our bathroom. I didn't fucking care about any of that shit until I grew up a little bit more. And what I mean by that is, I ended up seeing a lot of horror movies, but when my dad left, there was just a bunch of Playboy magazines that he used to collect laying around the house. And obviously, me being the curious George of the family, I looked through all of these. And I used to have a magazine underneath my pillow only at the age of 6. I wasn't even a teenager yet, and I already had Playboy magazines under my pillow. But yeah, Chloe did not last long. I didn't have much luck with relationships after all of that. I wanted to try my hardest to get into a relationship, but eventually it became hard. After Chloe, during that time, we had a step family into our family, of course. But I was prescribed something I thought I didn't even had, and it actually affected me in school. I was prescribed with ADHD, and I had to take Adderall and shit like that to feel like actually do shit in school. All because I was lazy. Like, legitimately, I was just lazy. I wasn't good in school because I was fucking lazy. But I got prescribed with ADHD because of that. And when I made it into the 5th grade and had to start taking my medications, my teacher, although was a pretty great teacher, they weren't the best at the same time. They were really great during summer school, and God, the fucking light thing. There we go. My TV thing. I'm watching South Park. But anyway, my teacher wasn't the greatest, and unless it was summer school. Like, every Friday we were getting donuts, like a pretty good lunch. We could earn some fucking good computer time. Like, that was the good part about it, right? We get to hang out and shit. However, my desk was separated from everybody else's. Everybody had their desk connected together in the 5th grade, except for my desk specifically, which was specifically put in the corner of the classroom where I can't see the whiteboard, where I can't even see the teacher. I would, like, legit have to, like, back my chair up and lean on it just to fucking see what the teacher is talking about. And that's where I got a lot of my injuries from. And they weren't serious injuries, but eventually I did get a concussion. And it wasn't from falling off my chairs, of course, but it was, the start of it. Eventually I was doomed to get a very bad concussion. I kept falling off my chairs because I was trying to fucking read what the teacher was writing so I could understand how to do division, which I don't know how to do. The 5th grade is when they teach you how to do division. The only way I do division now is I think about multiplication and just reverse it, which essentially is what division is. It's just hard because sometimes I'm not accurate about it because I'm not smart. It's hard to do things in reverse, okay? So, I never really got taught anything because I was one of those students who got put in the back because nobody wanted to focus on me. And because everybody thought I was fucking lazy. After I got put on that medication, though, I wanted to do some schoolwork and I wanted to improve. I wanted to show people this is not me. And eventually that led to middle school, where I met, what was her name? I think her name was Rihanna. Something like that. And not the pop singer Rihanna, but she just had the same name. It was something with an R. Pretty close to Rihanna. She was a pretty cool chick. Like, a pretty interesting one. Like, she was that one person where she's like, you do this, right? You answer a question. I will show you a little bit of something. She was one of those girls, But she was more better at it, like, she wasn't showing fully anything. Like, she would pretty much tease me. But the actual reward was the fact that she had a lot of shit she was getting rid of, and some of that shit was Xboxes and shit like that, and Xbox controllers, so I got a lot of good shit out of it. I did have a controller that was like this before, this neon controller, except it was an older one, and it was not wired. I don't know what happened to the controller, but obviously that's why I got this controller now. But, we ended up breaking apart because I think she moved too, which was also pretty disappointing. We finished the school year and then she wasn't there next year. So she just moved away. And that was pretty disappointing. I actually really liked her. She was pretty cool. She wanted to actually help me succeed. And in order for me to succeed, I needed motivation. And that was pretty good motivation, obviously. They were a great partner at the time. After that, I think I stopped focusing on relationships again. No, actually, yeah, I stopped focusing on relationships because I was having a horrible breakdown. And I have talked to one of my friends, Dove, about it. I talked to two of my friends about it, actually, because it was in a group chat. But I was in a bad mind state by this time, and I ended up doing something horrible, you know. And I don't want to get into too much details about it, but it did cause me to go to jail for a little bit, and I was homeless for a little bit. And I was a pretty fucking horrible kid while we were homeless too. I was stealing cigarettes from my stepmom at the time. I was a complete douchebag because I was depressed. I didn't fucking know what to do in life, and I was dragging everybody down with me. So I didn't have much time to focus on all of that until I finally moved into this current house with my dad. Now, my relationship next was with I think we were both 15. No, I was 16. No, yeah, 15. I was 15 and she was 13. And that was with my ex-girlfriend, Caitlin. And boy, that could have been a good relationship if only she gave me the signs. Like, it's always complicated in a relationship because always, like, the woman's like, oh, the man's got to make the first move. But the man usually expects the woman to make the first move. The man can't touch a woman unless there's consent. So the woman has to, present the consent. It's not about just doing things. And I should have learned that too. And got the hints. Like, the hints at the time, like, should have been pretty obvious. She was, like, cuddling with me. She wanted to, like, get under the blankets and grab her chest. But the reason why I didn't is because when we were already cuddling underneath the blanket, her aunt comes walking into the room, because this was with my friend's cousin. So I was just hanging out with my friend and his cousin. Like, that's how I met her. She's just my friend's cousin. But her aunt comes in and sees us under the same fucking blanket, and I'm surprised she didn't throw me out the fucking window. I wasn't doing anything, obviously, but, like, we were really close together, okay? Like, we were, like, really, really close together. And I was this close from touching her breast, okay? And she had some pretty big honkas at the time. But the reason why that didn't work was because I had suicide issues still. And I'm glad Caitlin broke up with me, because I was most likely gonna fucking kill myself, and she was probably gonna witness it. She almost did. I mentioned before that I tried to kill myself with pills and alcohol and stuff like that. After I took all those pills, my girlfriend wanted to call me at night. Caitlin at the time. Not my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, right? She wanted to call me because she likes calling and falling asleep on calls and shit like that, even though she's pretty much up the whole time when I'm sleeping. But she called me one night while I was taking these pills, and she had to comfort me this whole fucking time when I was on these pills. And she was afraid I died for a little bit when, like, in the morning, because I wasn't responding, and she could hear me choking. But that's because I was dead for a little bit, and I just woke up from pretty much vomiting all over the place on myself. And Kaylin was pretty great in this situation. She was convincing me to vomit as much as I could, so that way I could let all the pills out and all of the side effects out. However, it wasn't the best option. Like, my body was green for 2 weeks, and I couldn't walk without like wobbling all over the fucking place. And I mean like actually genuinely wobbling, like how I'm wobbling right now. Like it was that bad. And that's why we broke up. But I ended up dating her friend, Zoe. And I was actually shocked that I got together with Zoe, because Zoe seemed to fucking hate the shit out of me at first. Like, I was being a douchebag, and maybe that's why she got attracted to me, was because I was being a douchebag to her on Halloween. But, we got together for a little bit, then we ended up stopped talking to each other. And that was because, I was still facing suicide issues, and, I wasn't in the best mindset still for a relationship. So after that, I decided to stick with online, or try to go online, but those relationships weren't working out too. I dated a person named Flame for a while. They ended up leaving because I went to placement for a bit. And yeah, I got back in contact with them. They're doing well. I was with a person named Gloria. They broke up with me because I was also a douchebag. I was experimenting with drugs, and I was constantly being a dick to her. But also, I had the worst friend ever, because I had to contact her with my friend's phone. My dad took all my shit at that time. So I had to talk to her with my friend's phone and use my account on my friend's phone. But he was an asshole. He legit typed to her on my account to fucking kill herself. And then we pretty much broke up after that. The rest of the stuff was also because of Levi. I just want to point that out. Like, he was constantly bothering us every fucking day, telling us that we weren't meant to be together or something like that. And also trying to manipulate Flame into a relationship. So, after all that, I decided to get off the internet for a little bit. And I started dating this Hawaiian girl named KG. I won't say her full name, obviously, but KG is her initials, and that's what she likes to be called anyway. And we met in school, so it was perfect. An IRL relationship that could have been stable, and it was for a little bit. Because I thought we were in a relationship. It was a friendship that turned into a relationship, and there's a reason why I do that quote thing, and that's because after we had intercourse twice, by the way, I was in my room twice, I ended up finding out the next day after we did it the second time that she has a boyfriend, and that boyfriend came in to take a piss. My bathroom is right next to the fucking room, this room that I fucked her in, with my closet, because we had done it in there, right? And we did it on my bed, of course. Now, that's the heartbreaking part, was learning about all of that. I was heartbroken. But it caused something to be born. Most likely. There's still a little bit iffy-diffy on if it is my kid. But we're 90% sure. Even the mom is 90% sure I'm the father. But she hasn't, put that on me. Because she is young like me, and I've told her a bunch of fucking things about kids and stuff like that before this kid was even in the process of being in the belly. Before I even fucked her, I was just telling her about, what to do if you have a kid with somebody who you really like, but you can't be with. And obviously that turned into me. I'm a father, but I can't see the kid, and I'm not allowed to be a father because she's with somebody else. And I'm fine with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. Because at the end of the day, the kid's going to grow up to be successful, and eventually they'll learn where their bloodline comes from, whether it be from me or some random ass white guy. Though it is, once again, 90% sure that I'm the father, which is pretty fucked. I've been with a lot of girls, and there's a lot of stuff like that where it's just the 80%, the 90%, and the 50%. I'm the youngest in my family, and I already have kids. That's the fun thing, too. If that kid is mine, my kid is older than my sister's kid, because my sister's still pregnant, but that kid's already born. So, if that is the case, that's the ironic part. My sister's pretty fucking old. I think she's like 22, 23. And I'm already having a fucking kid. You know, I already had a kid. That's what I should be saying. So, maybe I'm not a caretaker, but yeah. After that, I started dating somebody by the name of Luna. I'll just make that one pretty quick. It didn't really last long. It was an on and off relationship. It was essentially friends with benefits. We would talk to each other online and send photos of each other because we're kids. Maybe saying kids is the worst part about it, but we're teenagers. That's a better way of rephrasing it. We're teenagers. We're doing teenage shit, you know. And pretty much the reason why our relationship didn't last, and I've already explained it a few times in my Max related videos, is that she was cheating on me with Max several fucking times. But it was mainly her mental health that made me had to step away. I was trying to help her badly with it. She didn't want to take my advice and figure out how to get better, you know. I told her, you need to do some exercise, you need to eat healthy, you gotta do stuff. If you don't do anything, then you're just killing yourself at that point. And that's why I had to break up. So that relationship didn't really last long. And that's why I ended up moving on with my two current girlfriends, Eris and Corey. I got with Corey just by saying yes, essentially. Corey just came up to me one day and was like, hey, I have a crush on you. You mind if we go on a date or something like that? Obviously, it's still online, virtual shit. Can't have a real date. But I said, sure. Let's get to know each other. Essentially, our version of a date was just hanging out on Ponytown or just calling in a voice chat while I was eating McDonald's. Specifically, I remember that because McDonald's was doing that promotion anime thing. I was eating McDonald's, filling my face with a Big Mac when I first talked with Corey. And surprisingly, she liked me. And that's how we got together. Kept trying to stabilize the relationship, and it turned successful for the most part. Same thing with Eris. I got together with them because of the Max situation. Max was not treating her right. I didn't like the fact that he was treating her wrong. So I started to hang out with her. Just to get her back on her feet, in a way. From all that bullshit. So that way she wouldn't have to be depressed and stuff like that. She can know that she has friends. You know, because there was a lot of shit going on at that time. A lot of people accusing her over Max bullshit. So I stepped in and I defended her. And I still am defending her. Now that's pretty much where we're at today. Luna is trying to get back together with me, it seems, or at least become friends with benefits again. I don't know if that's going to be a thing that happens again, you know, that's if Corey approves. But speaking of that, lately our relationship hasn't been the best. And I don't mean like bad things are happening, we're yelling at each other or fighting. We just suddenly dialed down on talking. because there's not much to talk about anymore. You know, it's sad to admit it, but when you're young, your relationships don't last that long. There's always new women and new women and new women. And I was already afraid that I was going to lose Eris and I was going to lose Corey. But I didn't want to put that as like my big stressor, because that's what Max did. And look where he is today. Fucking everybody hates him. I don't want to end up like that. So I didn't focus on it. But as the days go by and I think about the word love, I think about someone who I really care about. You know, yeah, I could love this person and I could love that person, or I could love a person the way I love my dad, you know. There is somebody else who I particularly like, and I obviously don't talk about it because why the fuck would I? This person is 3 years younger than me, which means bad. It equals bad because 18 and stuff like that. And I get that. I'm in Colorado and technically it is okay for me to be with a 15-year-old. However, that's just Colorado. That doesn't go for every fucking state if I'm online dating, but I know for a fact this person doesn't even want to do online dating, of course. Online dating is the setup for failure. A bunch of promises that'll eventually be broken. It's pretty disappointing, but it's true. Online dating is a nightmare. Unless you all live in the same exact state, it is a nightmare. I hate it. And I hate feelings. I hate feeling feelings, you know? I hate that I can feel. I don't want to feel anything. I want to be numb because that's how I was raised. Pretty weird to say it like that, but it is true. My mom walked out on me. She tried to insert herself back into my life by threatening my dad, calling the police nearly every week saying we have cuts on our arms. It's just fucking ridiculous. My mom almost got away with it too because I legit fell out of a tree and my arm got slashed from the tree branches because it was fall. So like all those trees were all fucking scraping against me, the tree branches. My mom was not the best mom. She was trying later on in the future. And my dad, he's a man. He wants his kids to be tough because they're all boys. But that's the sad part. My stepmom, Nicole at the time, that's who my old stepmom was, she didn't treat us right. She made a lot of stories up, just like how my sister keeps making stories up about me. Nicole was making stories up about how we were inappropriate to her kids. Even though me and my brothers already did know about all the inappropriate stuff, we just didn't want to do it because our family is already pretty fucked up. Our stepmom was technically my dad's second cousin or something like that. You know, not on the bloodline, but still a part of the family tree spectrum, you know. So it was pretty weird. And yet we were the ones who had to look bad. The kids, you know. And the sad part is when she left, she blamed us. Which is clear as day. My dad doesn't talk about that part that much because it's fucking Nicole. Nicole's kind of a bitch. But, she left my dad because of us. We weren't good enough, you know? And I'm glad my dad stuck by our sides. I'm glad he didn't, beat the living shit out of us because of his love. Because it's either you pick the love of your life or you pick your kids at that point. And he picked us, luckily. And he realized quickly that Nicole wasn't even right for him. She treated him awful. In a good way, She made sure that she was getting taken care of and her kids were getting taken care of. But me and my brother weren't taken care of. We never got attention from our dad while Nicole was around. We'd only get attention from her kids by playing Halo or something together. But I always fucking hate one of her kids because I loved Halo and he ruined my disc. Pretty much the point of this is there's a lot of weird shit that goes on in my family. Crazier than what I'm experiencing. And I've said this before, it's okay to like people, but it's not okay to express it, if you know what I mean, to these younger people. You have to wait till they're older and wait till they at least understand what they are. The person I'm referring to is going to remain anonymous, but they don't understand who they are yet. That's clear as day. He's still figuring it out. Last thing I could talk about was Flutterfan. I know I've mentioned that before. Flutterfan was someone who was pretty good in my life. Online dating with him was the best that I've ever gotten. And he left. There's more details on that in another video. I don't want to get into too much detail. It's so early. I don't want to start bawling my eyes out. But, the bright side is I fell for somebody else. But this somebody else doesn't really know who they are. So, that's one reason to not be with them. And two, they're 3 years younger than me. They gotta grow up first. But, not only that, I don't think they're attracted to me. Or people in particular. Just anything, I should say. So, now it probably is obvious at this point to them, because they watch my channel, obviously, but I show signs without trying to show signs. If I get too stressed, I smoke cigarettes, right? But the only thing I typically am stressed about is my love life. At least most of the time. So I go smoke cigarettes, and that's where the hints come in. Without really me trying to hint it. I'm just like, I need a fucking cigarette. I'll be right back. Because what else am I going to say? Sorry guys, AFK for 1 second, right? It's not going to be 1 second. It's going to be 5 minutes. Because it's smoking a cigarette. But yeah. In a nutshell, my love life is not that great. I even fell for some people I shouldn't have. And I don't mean bad people. Recently, I was in a hospital, near my birthday. It was January, February, March, April. It was in April. I think I got put in April 28th, I want to say. I think it was the 28th, which was a very big coincidence because I also went to the hospital 3 years prior on the same exact day. Except I spent my birthday in that hospital too. This one, I fell in love with a girl named V. And I think I still have her art in here somewhere. Right? Somewhere. Point is, it's right over here, isn't it? No. Okay. Oh, it's too early to pick up all this shit and find it. But I fell in love with a girl named V in the hospital, and that's one rule they have in the hospital is you're not supposed to fall in love with people in the hospital. V was really cool. We bonded by just playing cards together. We weren't even doing anything in particular. We were just playing cards, making fun of each other and laughing while we were playing cards. Haha, you're a loser. You owe me a snack. When snack time happens, you owe me your snack. Some shit like that, right? And they even had like a whiteboard wall thing, so we were drawing shit and making fun of each other. Silly, playful shit. But, I found out she liked me the day I was leaving. She found out I liked her when I was already gone. And we tried getting in contact with each other, but it was too late. Because the next day she got moved to residential. She was gone. Some pretty sad shit. She was really fucking cool. I miss her. But that's all in the past. I moved on, and I started thinking about this new person. And they're all that comes up in my mind. And I like to think of it as a good thing, you know? I'm able to push aside my other feelings, but also keep in mind my friendly feelings. If anybody makes fun of this person, I'm gonna fucking argue my fucking ass off. You know? I care about these people. And I like to keep showing that I care by putting my feelings to the side. Because if I keep my feelings up, then I'm being selfish. And selfish is not something I want to do. But I already know what this person's answer is going to be. They've already told me, pretty much. Without me telling them that I like them, they've already pretty much told me their interest, you know? Which isn't men or women or anybody. So the best thing I can do is give them care. Have someone care about them, you know? Not a lot of people get that anymore. So, that's love. I'm going to love them like a sibling. Just like how I love Candace, one of my friends, like a sibling. They're fucking awesome. Every one of my friends are fucking awesome. Let's be real. The fact that they're still hanging out with me just goes to show they're awesome. And they're all always asking about me because of my mental health, which is fucking great. I appreciate it when people ask, because not too many people ask anymore. But, this video's starting to get too long. I think I should call it. Let me drink the rest of this black coffee. So, that's pretty much it. To explain what love is now that we made it to the end, and I've given my love story. Love is a complicated thing. You love someone, but God will quickly show you that love can be taken away. When it's taken away, boy, does it fucking hurt. It hurts so bad that the person might even want to die because of it. But life goes on. I'm only 18. And as my dad always says, you only have one life. How do you want to live it? You know? I don't want to live in regrets and stuff like that. I want to move on. And that's what I've been doing. Any feelings I have, I push to the side and I keep moving forward. And that's why I'm not too invested in some stuff like the Max situation. I'm not really invested into it anymore. Like, I'm just the person who you could talk to about information, give you information, but I'm not dealing with it anymore unless he specifically calls me out. if he calls me out on anything, then I'm going to shit talk in response. Not really do anything, but shit talk. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.